All right, everybody, welcome into the Lantern Sports Wrap-Up Show. We are here at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center following Ohio State's 17th preseason practice and the final media availability of the preseason. We were able to speak with none other than the wide receiver group, one of the best groups in the country, starting at the top with Jackson Smith-Njigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Egbuka, Julian Fleming. The list goes on and on, fellas. And Jacob, no better way to kick it off than talking about Jackson Smith-Njigba, the man who lit the world on fire out in Pasadena in the Rose Bowl. 3 touchdowns, up over 300 yards, record-breaking performance. What did he have to say today?
Yeah, it was really special getting to talk with Jackson again today. Someone who's put up numbers in real-life football that I can't even do in Madden. So, getting to hear his personal goals he has for not only himself, but the Ohio State team, he was talking with some really high confidence. He was talking with, when we get to the Natty, when Ohio State gets to beat the team up north, go move on to the Big Ten championship game. And so it's pretty interesting to hear someone who's had success already in the wide receiver room, set the bar maybe even a little bit higher than the team last season. And so, but it starts up at the top. Brian Hartline is back. I believe he was elevated to passing game coordinator this offseason. And, we spoke with him today as well, and we got to hear, how Jackson is meshing with him going into year 3 for Smith-Njigba.
Yeah, with that being said, Njigba and Harrison are the main 2 guys at the top, but not all the time you're going to be able to use them as the instrument to carve up defenses. You're going to have to use potentially Xavier Johnson, Emeka Egbuka, those kind of guys. And he talked extensively today about Marvin Harrison and what he brings to the table. He was on a list of freakish athletes, which a couple Buckeyes probably should have been on that weren't outside of him. But with that being said, you got to kind of pick defenses apart with a scalpel rather than a butcher knife. And one of those guys, Steven, is Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah, Egbuka talked a lot about how he's just been able to develop a relationship with not only CJ, but the other quarterbacks in the room as well. And he feels like this is the year that he really feels like he's going to, put production on the field that people have been talking about and speculating about for a while. But he really feels like this offseason was his best one yet. And he's more than excited to not only go out there and catch touchdowns, but return kickoffs as well. That's something he really relishes in, and he really appreciates the coach, special teams coach, that he just wants to help the team win. And then we also heard from Julian Fleming. He said that this offseason was also probably one of his best, given the previous offseasons were, in his words, not up to par because his motivation wasn't where he wanted his talent to be. And so this offseason, he says he's got most of his head on straight, and he wants to go out there and prove why he was a 5-star prospect. Casey, any final thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. The one guy we haven't talked about, Marvin Harrison Jr., you mentioned him very briefly, but you didn't go into depth about the man who's now, he confirmed, he's 6'4", everybody. He's already a freakish athlete. He put that on display in Pasadena, catching 3 touchdowns himself in that 48-45 Rose Bowl victory. But now, who knows, that extra inch that could really pay dividends, especially going against some of these smaller defensive backs. He talked a lot about how he's ready to take that next step, and I could see him definitely contending for the Biletnikoff Award given to the best wide receiver in the country, because who knows, Jackson Smith-Njigba, he might be getting double, he might be getting game plan 4, he's definitely going to be getting game plan 4, so Marvin Harrison Jr. might be able to pay dividends, and we're going to see that on display September 3rd, less than 2 weeks away at the Ohio Stadium in Columbus. They're facing off against Notre Dame, but until then, just be sure to keep up with our content on Lantern.com, YouTube, on all of our socials at Lantern OSU. Follow us on TikTok, and for Gabe, Jacob, and Steven, I'm Casey Smith. We'll see you next time.